My name is Catherine Mead. I am the owner, director of Lynher Dairies Cheese Company. We make Cornish Yarg cheese and Cornish Kern cheese. The business was established in 1985, and from 85 to 95 it was still very small, very embryonic. From 95 to 2000 we grew at quite a pace, but that then prompted our ability then to invest here on this site, and we've grown our business now by about 300%. We encounter disruption on a monthly basis. The key is what the extent of that disruption is and how long that disruption is going to last. So if it's a temporary moment where something goes awry or something goes slightly wrong or something goes as not intended, there's every chance that you can work to bring that back. But sometimes we have disruption in the form of step changes that are going to fundamentally change the way in which we do business. Inevitably, Brexit will cause disruption. It's already caused disruption by dint of uncertainty. So we're all operating now in a world where we're unsure of what the next year to 5 years are going to really look like. For those of us that export, which we are an exporter here, that's fairly fundamental. Our export business is a significant part of our business, and our ability to export in the future and the competitiveness of that export will be interesting. Brexit is actually impacting really significantly on the food industry. Generally, food is very high up on the list of sectors that will be very badly affected. And again, we go back to inputs and we go back to just in time. So the fact that most of our food is actually permanently on the motorway, going into retail outlets, so that the whole just in time system will be really seriously challenged. Those things will happen, but what none of us know is the extent. So it may be to the extent that it's barely perceptible, and it may be really fundamental. But we have to plan as if is going to be really fundamental. I believe we must. So we have a lot of Eastern Europeans who would pick our stinging nettles. We've now got in place a project with Duchy College down at Rosewarne where we're growing stinging nettles in tunnels. Now, was that a response to Brexit? Well, Brexit certainly prompted it. Was it something that we should have been doing as a business? Absolutely, we should have been doing it. Is it a good, resilient concept? Yeah, too right it is. So it wasn't a plan for Brexit, but it was certainly something that Brexit drove us towards. With our export business, we're currently exporting. Our principal markets are the US and Australia, but all our product is actually going through Paris. So we've been working with our consolidator to say we think that we should be sending more product into the US, but we're actually going to start sending it by ship direct from Liverpool. So it can go from Liverpool on the boat and then go to the eastern seaboard and then be distributed from the eastern seaboard. Sitting here, I'm sure your audience would say, you're taking a leg out of the journey. Why would you not do that? And there are some really strong and key benefits for taking our product through Paris, through the main market. But if that's not possible anymore, there is an alternative, and that alternative can go into place really quickly and be ready to go. So meanwhile, we are building our US market and working hard in the US, where we already have trade tariffs. And yes, they may go up, but we've already got the trade tariffs. So we can look to increase demand in that market and deflect from some of the loss of market we are going to see in Europe. My top 3 tips for looking at a world post-Brexit, or planning as we go into Brexit, more to the point, are one, that we need to review those points of risk. We must understand what our risks are and ensure that our business risk register is absolutely bang up to date. And then we need to look at what the mitigations are for those risks. That is something that we would do routinely anyway, but we're reviewing it in the context of a Brexit world. Then we need to look very carefully at each of those risks and say, well, what is the business case for change? What does that business case look like? And where's the opportunity sitting in there? And where is the point for investment? So I believe at this period in time, because we may be implementing more change than we would normally implement in a shorter period of time, we need to make provision for investment because change costs. And then the third point is that we mustn't panic and go for knee-jerk actions. We're all trying to double guess what's going to happen, and there is this combination of underestimating and overestimating, and both of them I think are really dangerous. So we've got to just hold our own line. We've got to do what's right for our business, think about what's right for our business, and then go back and reevaluate that and say, now, is that still working against those risks that we've identified on our risk register of a post-Brexit world?